Welcome back, Morbid Moss. Today we have Tobin Elliot. Surprise, surprise, another horror author. And we love supporting indie horror on this podcast. And I cannot wait to get into talking about Aphotic, his super awesome series. We're going to hear all about it today and what's going on in the world of Tobin. So thanks for joining us today, Tobin.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, everyone, I want you all to know that this bio may be one of the best that I have read on the pod because it is fucking hilarious. And I literally laughed out loud for like 5 solid minutes after reading it. So just listen, if this alone does not convince you to read Tobin's work, I'm not sure if anything else will, because I'm like, God damn, this is hilarious. So
you know what?
okay.
I'm sitting trying to remember what I wrote, so I'm interested too.
Oh, I'm really hyping it up. You're going to be like, what the fuck is that? I'm hyping it up so hard, okay? So, Tobin was destined for horror. I mean, what an opening. I was like, oh, okay. This became obvious when, in the span of 2 weeks, he built a working model of a guillotine out of popsicle sticks and a razor blade, which his grade 5 teacher didn't seem to appreciate as much as he did.
Nope.
And he also learned, this is the part that kills me, literally, pun totally intended. He also learned to tie a noose and proudly hung one from their apartment balcony, which his mother and the superintendent didn't seem to appreciate as much as he did. So you were just like the little omen, like just chilling in the 5th grade, like, guys, here's a noose.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Playing hockey, I'm making nooses.
I love it. I love it. You're like, rope work. Thank you, guys. Eventually, he learned to focus the horror into stories. His friends and neighbors likely appreciate the lesser PDH, which is public displays of horror. Fucking hilarious. Besides writing ugly stories about bad people doing horrible things, Tobin also counts embarrassing his wife and kids, pointing out the stupidities of others, being dumb to kind animals, and killing plants among his hobbies. At least you're honest about it. I mean,
plant serial killer. Actually, I mean, I should probably adjust that kid thing because now my kids are one's 27 and one's 30, so they're not kids anymore, and they're just as good at embarrassing me as I am.
Oh yeah, good. They're bringing you back. The rooster has come home to roost, or whatever that phrase is. Okay, finally, Tobin loves feedback, either positive or negative, on his writing. You can find him occasionally reviewing indie books on Goodreads or being sarcastic on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck it's called, and Instagram at the horror guy 91. So, I mean, damn, like, what an introduction. I've like applause, everyone. Hilarious.
It's all downhill from
I know, like, damn it, there's nothing else to talk about. Like, where do you go from guillotine in the 5th grade? I'm not sure.
Right.
So. Okay, so let's talk about the updates in your bio. You are the author of the Aphotic series, right? Tell us about that. How did you get into that? Where did it come from? We know you've been a lifelong freak, apparently, so tell us about your writing.
Like the Grateful Dead said, what a long, strange trip it's been. So I'm going to say somewhere around mid to late 90s. I had written a lot when I was younger. I actually had a really good teacher who really encouraged me a lot in like pre-high school, grade 7, grade 8. But, you know, it's that typical thing. You get older, you get interested in the opposite sex, you start dating, you get married, you have kids, and you have no time for anything else. So once the kids were kind of at a certain age, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get serious about the writing again. So I, and it was funny because then, and by the way, my dog every once in a while wants to say hi.
That's right. We're actually here to interview the pup. So, what's his
Yes.
name?
Mhm.
And Murphy. Murphy, are there any pup nooses around the house? I'm just wondering. Murphy's the
That-
star.
He is. He's only got two brain cells though, and not they don't even touch.
Oh, they
So,
don't even rub together. Bless
yeah,
him,
that's it.
Murphy.
That's
He's our star.
yeah. No, getting back to it anyways, but yeah, so I decided to get a little more serious on it, and then I kind of sat around looking for ideas and wrote a couple of short stories. So the second book in the series was the first thing that I wrote. Uh,
Oh,
it's actually written as a standalone. For the longest time, it was called No Hope. It's now referred to as Out for Blood, but at the time it was No Hope.
uh-huh.
Um, I got this idea because I was a terrible parent, and I would let my kids watch a TV show called Sticking Around. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
I don't know that.
It was literally stick figures. And they would fart and they would burp and they would do. And I'm like, why did I let my kids watch this?
What am I doing?
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about my parenting issues later. So, but there was one episode, and it's one of these things where I'm kind of off on the side, not necessarily paying attention. But there was this one episode where, and I may have the story slightly wrong, but it was about a kid who I think kept his lunches and kind of stuffed them someplace at school, so they all kind of built up and piled up and got really gross. And then they turned into a monster, and then the monster ran through the school.
Oh, fun.
If I remember right, one of the kids actually had the cafeteria chili and burped it to death or farted it to death at the end, somehow like
Oh
that.
my God.
Yeah, again, why am I letting my kids watch your show?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wanting to meet your kids now and see how traumatized they are.
Oh, my kids are messed up. And the
Mine is only 6, so I still have a chance, I
oh
guess.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Mine both look nice. So, anyways, long story short, funny enough, it brought back a memory of me in high school. The year, I believe it was the year before I started at high school in the small town of Barry's Bay, Ontario, which at the time I think was population 1,300 and has probably gone down since then. Um,
Okay.
but the year before, one of the students there, his mom used to diligently made him a lunch every day that he wouldn't eat. Instead of throwing the damn thing out, he stacked them up in his locker. So
Oh my God.
you can see the parallels, right?
Yes. Yeah. Here he
Um,
is in the
yeah,
real flesh. Yeah.
right. So I've kind of got this real world experience that kind of matches. I mean, it caused a maggot infestation in the high school, whereas the one on the TV show caused a monster. I like the monster aspect better. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
definitely.
I know, right? Um, and it got me thinking, and it was like, damn, if I could kind of adapt that and mess around with it, I could kill off the teachers I didn't like. I could kill off the students that I didn't like, and it would not go to jail for it, hopefully. So,
Hopefully. If any of them are missing or on unaccounted for right now,
it has
it has
nothing to do with.
absolutely nothing to do with Tobin.
No,
This is all
no,
definitely speculative.
absolutely. So,
Right.
so long, yeah. So I ended up, and I thought I was writing a short story, uh, but it just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going and blowing up and changing around and it, so that was the start of it, and I ultimately did write that whole novel, and it is a demon who is released in a high school, and it gets really dark. Uh,
Fun.
so the funny thing is, then just right around now, I was messing with this for like 10 years. So 2006, 2007, I got an offer to publish it. By a very small press. She was very gung ho for it. We were happy about it. And then it was around 2007, 2008, just around the time that Chrysler and GM and the whole economy crashed. So
Yes.
she was like, I don't think I can afford to put an entire novel. I literally would have been the first novel they did like smaller novellas.
Yeah.
So he said, could you write something smaller? Maybe even as a lead in. And my first thought was, No, it's a standalone. Hell no.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
this is on its own. Yeah.
yeah. But then I had this funky little story that I'd written about a little girl who was playing with a squirrel and with her mind turned it inside out, which is gross. Um,
Yeah, no, I love that idea though. And I love squirrels, but I love it.
don't like animals around me. I love animals. I do. I love. I, lo-
No, you killed a dog in your stories. Murphy, run! Go, Murphy, go!
there is a new stream.
Knew it. I knew it. Damn it. Oh man.
So no, I. You know what? There's actually one of the readers that I have on Instagram who's read the whole series. He put out a question to me as like, why does Tobin kill everyone we love? So that's a one for anybody going in.
Okay, Jar Jar Mountain, calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Yeah. You write fantasy, I'll be over here in my horror killing people.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
so anyways, yeah, so I ended up taking that little girl and that squirrel and turning it into a novella. So that became Bad Blood that led into Out for Blood. So that one, the Bad Blood, the first one with the squirrel, starts in 1975. And then Out for Blood jumps ahead to 1981. Then the next book actually jumps ahead to, I believe, 2002, 2003, something like that. And there's werewolves in that one. The fourth one goes all the way back to 1912, and I based that one on a real world event that happened up in Barry's Bay. The And it's funny, a girl that I used to know from high school who I hadn't talked to in probably 20 years, says, how come you haven't written a story about when that boat went down? And I'm like, what boat? What are you talking about? There was a boat that was going down Lake Kaministkeg, spell that, or say it three
Yeah.
times fast.
Oh my god, yeah.
But it's a really cool story. It was the last trip of the season. They weren't going to do it. The boat was supposed to stop there. This guy, he's got his dead brother in a coffin. He needs to get him down. They took the boat down, hit bad weather. The boat went down, and the two or three survivors that survived managed to do so because they floated to shore with the coffin. Like the coffin was the thing that was their life's preserver.
Oh my god, this is like some William Faulkner shit, but happened in real life. God damn it, what is that story where one of the chapters is My Mother is a Fish? As I Lay Dying. No, yeah. Is it As I Lay Dying? Maybe?
It might be
Yes. I think it is.
I
But
think
that
you're
is,
right.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And that happened in real life? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
In 1912. So I thought, okay, well, all right, there's another real world thing that I got to steal and adapt and mess around with. So I added vampires to that one.
Oh god.
Yeah. And
I
then
love this. I love this.
and then that book from 1912 leads directly into the fifth and sixth book, which are the last two. The sixth book wraps everything up. But the fifth one, we have vampires, we have werewolves, we have demons, and it's sort of a murder mystery. Each book has its own feel. And I knew I wanted to bring the whole thing to a close, and I knew I was going to do it, and I knew I was going to bring some characters back from each of the 5 previous books. There's just one minor problem. I didn't have a goddamn clue how to do it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say everybody was dead. I was like, well, I mean.
That wouldn't stop me.
No, yeah. I'm like, it's horror, undead. Like, come back to life. It's fine. Yeah.
So, yeah, and funny enough, so that one came about because I had, and I don't have it here, my dog ate half of it. Damn it.
Murphy, not good for you, Murphy.
Yeah.
No.
Life expectancy just dropped.
It did. The noose is getting tighter, Murphy.
So, you know the size of an average book. It's maybe, an inch across and 6-7 inches, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's this bookstore that I used to go to when I was around 10, 12 years old, and it was the coolest bookstore. It's where I discovered Ray Bradbury and Robert E. Howard and Larry Niven and Sherlock Holmes and H.P. Lovecraft. Like, I grabbed them all.
Yes.
And there was always this dude behind the counter I thought he was old. I bet he was no more than 25, but uh, but and I mean, this full on holdover from Woodstock, like hair down to his butthole, pulled back
Yes.
in a ponytail, big old scruffy beard, always had a butt going because you could smoke everywhere back then.
Oh yeah.
And right. And but the cool thing was, I mean, I got to the point where it'd be like, hey, so is this guy good? And I was like, Ray Bradbury? You don't know about Ray Bradbury? Come here, let me tell you about Ray Bradbury.
Oh my
Yeah, sort of
god.
thing.
Oh my
And
god.
he had that smoker's voice and everything else, right? So, anyways, I love that bookstore, but they had the coolest bookmark. It was like the same, 6 inches across or long, but it was probably like 3 inches thick. So it was meaty, and
Yeah.
and it had this really weird black and white image of somebody putting their fingers up to their face, and then all I had at the top was Good Books and Magazines, which was the name of the store, and then the phone number and the address at the bottom. So you can kind of see some of my library here. Like
Yeah.
this is about it's probably about a quarter of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I know you can't even see all like mine
yeah,
are like
yeah,
off
yeah.
screen.
You
Yeah.
need a fisheye lens. I happened to dig out one of my paperbacks and I opened it, and that bookmark fell out 45 years later. And so, of
Wow.
course, I started using the bookmark again. But there was one day, and I promise I'm getting around to what the sixth book is about.
I know. I love it. Yeah.
So the bookmark one day is just sitting on the coffee table, and I'm kind of sitting there, and I'm in, I guess, that writer's frame of mind, because I look at it, and you do the what if, right? And it was like, wouldn't it be cool 45 years later, phone that phone number, and that dude with the hair and the smoker's voice, the Good Books and Magazines sort of thing. Wouldn't it be cool if he answered? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let's move that slightly. What if one of the two protagonists from the fifth book, whose dad died under mysterious circumstances in 1983 at a bookstore, like one day it's there, the next day there's a smoking crater in the ground. He's gone. She never met him because she was born the end of that month. What if she phones that number and he answers?
Oh.
And, and not only does he answer, but he goes, Monica, I didn't think you were ever going to call back. And he knows she's his daughter, but there's 30 years between them, right?
I'm into this.
And I am not kidding you. Probably for the first time in my entire life, boom, 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 boom. In 30
Oh yeah.
seconds, I had the whole damn story. I knew where every character would come in and how they would come in and how it would land, and I knew it all. And then it was like, oh, damn, can I actually write this? Can I pull this off? But I think I did. I really think I did.
Yes.
And I wrapped up so the whole story is done. In those 6 books, it's start to finish done. And the good thing was, I wrote a lot of these books over the COVID lockdowns. So I didn't kind of publish the first one and then write the next one and publish it and write the next one and publish it.
Right.
I had them all written out, and then I finished that last one, and all the time I was writing, it's like, oh, yeah, make a reference in book 2 for this, and make a reference in book 4 for this one. So they're
Whoa.
all really well tied together now. So yeah,
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I am so deliriously happy with this series, and the cool thing is the people who have read start to finish, I'm getting the result. They're getting the reactions that I wanted to get. So yeah, blows my mind.
Well, you have me convinced. I'm like, I have to go read the whole series now. Like that, I'm so excited. I'm a fan, and I haven't even read all of them yet. Like I'm ready.
Here's the thing: if you're going to do it, I'm going to tell you right now, order them up before October 6th, which is my birthday, by the way.
Well, happy early birthday. Yes.
You no, because so a year ago was October 6th was the day I released the first book, and then I released each one like two months after that, with the exception of the last one. So I released the first one on my 60th birthday, and I released the very last one on June 13th, which was my daughter's 30th birthday, which was cool.
Oh my god. Did you
So
say 60? Hold on. Hold on. I think I just had like an aneurysm or something. Did you 60? Good for you. Oh my God, so much
I,
energy. And you look like 40. I know when you said my kids are 27, I was like, maybe they're like I don't know, maybe they're like stepkids or something. Like
I
you look
started
so
young,
young.
but
Oh my God.
yeah, no,
Damn.
I get that a lot. It's weird.
I bet. I mean,
Well,
yeah, you look really young. Yeah, good for you. That's awesome.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my mom got the same thing. I mean, my mom lived to be like 90, almost 94, but I mean, most of the time people thought she was 70, and when she
Oh,
was
I
70,
bet.
they thought she was 50, and yeah, so good
That's gonna
genes,
be
I guess.
you. That's gonna be you because it's the energy. It's not even the way you look. Look, it's your spirit. It's like. But no, I'm not saying that you
No,
don't look young till
no,
you do. But like the
mentally,
spirit.
I don't even know if I've hit puberty yet, so.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's talk about the book covers because
Cool.
those are so cool and they coincide with each other. And now knowing that you have released them, yes, want to hold up. Yes, hold it up a little longer. Show our
Oh,
our YouTube
yeah,
watchers. Yes, so cool. And that blood carries through as a theme throughout all of
it
your
does.
titles.
It does.
That
Yeah,
is amazing.
yeah. So, yeah, so the covers are a story in its own right. I was getting close to the point where I was going to publish, and I had some, you look around at other covers and kind of go, I like that. That's nice.
Right.
I didn't want anything super complicated. I wanted something that was kind of drive very easily. And
Yeah.
so I had these ideas, and there was one person, and I won't throw out names but there was one person on Instagram, and hey, I'll do covers, so I threw it into them. It's like, here's some of the reference stuff that I'm thinking about, and it was so complicated what it came back, and I was like, did you even look at this stuff? So
Oh
no,
no. So was it your vibe,
no,
right?
totally not my vibe. And then so I tried Fiverr. That didn't work out either. Um, so then, funny enough, I'm sitting there telling my woes to my son and his fiance, and his fiance is cool. Her name is Camille, and she's a tattoo artist. If you
Yeah.
are in the Toronto, Canada area, this woman kicks ass for tattoos. I'm
Awesome.
not. I'm not a tattoo guy. She is bound and determined to cover my son's entire body in ink, but she is phenomenal. She is absolutely phenomenal. So anyway, she said, "Hey, I'll give it a shot." So we sat down. I kind of talked to her. We did some stuff, and she pulls out the iPad, and off she goes. And we came up with a cover, and I was like, "Yeah, I like this. This is good." And then I changed my mind. But 3 days before
No.
I'm not kidding. I changed my mind. Again, I don't listen to the band, but I happened to see the cover of, at the time, Bring Me the Horizon had just brought out a new album. Um, and I saw the cover of it, and it was like almost like an android or robot type face, but it had split, and there was another face inside it. And I'm like, oh, that's what I want.
Ooh,
I want,
yes,
I want, I want, I
yes.
want a split face, and I want like the good girl on the outside and the bad girl from the first book on the inside. And as I started thinking it through, it's like, and I can do this for all of them because I can have, a vampire on the inside and a wolf on the outside, and I have this on this and a demon on the inside. So
That's cool.
I sent an email to my daughter-in-law, Camille, and said, "You're going to hate me, but here's what I'm thinking." And she came back and she said, quite bluntly, "I do hate you. However, I also love you because split faces are my vibe. So let me see what I can do." And I'm not kidding you. In God, maybe 3 hours, she had the cover nailed.
Oh
Which
my
was
God. I
it
mean,
was it
tattoo
was
artists, they're fast. So,
yeah.
yes.
But she's just brilliant. Like so, all six covers she did, obviously all six. All of them were done kind of last minute. Could always be like, "Hey, Camille, I'm going to need this in about 2 months. Hey, in about a month. Hey, it's getting down to last week." And then she'd say, "Okay, I'll come over for a couple hours and we'll bang it out." And she always would. Uh,
Wow. Wow, to have
So,
that in your family, like in your back pocket like that, that's
well,
wild.
I totally lucked out. I totally
Yeah.
lucked out. And I've had so many people literally at like in-store signings and stuff come over. It's like just they see the covers and it's like 90-degree turn and come right over and look.
Yeah.
And funny enough, there's a guy, I think he's in Korea, and I cannot think of his name right now, but he does horror book reviews, a lot of indie reviews on YouTube. And he was holding up my cover or showed my cover, and one of the comments, the first one's below, is, "Hey, is that such and such or is that Camille?" And I'm like, how the hell do you know this? He's in Korea, and the guy that's commenting is in Spain. I guess this guy literally Googled split faces, and those were the two names that came up. So my daughter-in-law's kind of,
Oh,
yeah, it's wild,
that's
right?
awesome. Yes,
It's
that's
wild.
awesome. Well, and they
Yeah,
are really eye-catching. And I like
yeah,
because it makes a cohesive visual for your brand too. So
yeah.
it's like if I
Yeah,
saw a book like that on the shelf, I'd be like, "Oh, that's Tobin. I
yeah,
know who that is, and now I want to read
yeah,
it." Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah. I love those
that's
authors.
awesome.
You don't even have to see their name, but you can look at the book and go, oh, that's, you know?
I already know. Yeah, kind of like I
Yeah,
see a smear, I know it's Eric LaRocca. Like it's you already know.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, love that. Okay, so I do want to ask your stories. Yeah, like you are fucking hilarious. You're funny, but your stories, and I wonder. I'm like, do you write satire because you would be really good at that? But your stories delve into
Are
very dark and like
dark and
human depravity and
yes,
like some fucked up
yeah,
shit. So
yeah.
what
Seriously.
is it that like draws you to explore those themes, and on top of that, what do you hope that the readers take away from your work?
So, and I make no secret of this. I mean, if you go on my or any of my social media, you'll see this. But um, growing up, I had a messed up childhood, nowhere near as bad as most do.
Mm.
But I had an alcoholic father, drug-addled and alcoholic brother who also couldn't keep in his pants and fathered kids everywhere.
Oh,
And
trauma, trauma.
yeah, trauma, 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 trauma. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, um, and I was lucky enough to actually be able to get out from under all of that. I'm the only one in my family to have married and then procreated in that order. I'm the only one to have owned a house, held down a job, owned cars, things like that. Um,
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying like this is where I came from, and I was
you
able
broke your
to.
cycle. Yeah,
Right. I was able to choose a different path.
which is
So
awesome, and congratulations for that because I know that's
thank
hard.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I know it is, and I've seen some people who have made it, and I've seen some people who have not been able to break out of that, and it's
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking. It is. It's rough. So so a lot of in the books, as I said, I've already mentioned, I have vampires, I have werewolves, I have demons, a few different demons. The worst monsters in my books are the humans. They're
Uh-huh.
awful. They're
Mm-hmm.
awful. Um, so, and I take some of that from news stories. I take some of it from other people's experiences that I've heard. I take a lot of it. There's a lot of me in these
Mm-hmm.
books. Um, so, and taking each book on its own, you're not going to get a positive message out of it. Taking, because I'm not one for a happy ending.
That I'm same. I'm not into it. It's fine.
I'm not
Girls
one for
like
a
you
happy
have to
ending.
have hope. I'm like nah.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally, the name of the book for the longest time was No Hope. But,
Warning.
um,
Here's your sign, people. Like this is it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but as a whole, um, I it's funny because it's one of these things where you write and you don't recognize the themes until later. And for me, there is a theme of, and not to get all fast and furious on you, but there is a theme of family on here.
Mhm.
I do not have a Vin Diesel guy going. I don't have that.
Oh my god.
I
I
don't.
was like,
I
where
don't.
is the Fast and Furious connection coming in? Okay, that makes sense. I was
I,
like, we suddenly going into cars? Like I
yeah,
was
yeah,
confused.
yeah. There's a whole, yeah, it's all cars glass.
They race. Yeah. Demons racing against each other. I love
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Death Race 2025. Um,
Oh my
no, but there is a theme of family through the whole thing. Um, and it's funny because I came into that, I almost started to clue into that in the third book when I actually the only title for that book has always been Blood Lost. And I love it because I mean there's a lot of people who lose a lot of blood in those books, but
yeah.
the main characters have also all lost family members who were important to them. They've
Oh
lost
wow.
blood. So, and that's where I started to sense it. But there's other bits in there as well. I one of the things that I've become interested in my advancing years is
Advancing year. Oh my god.
come
I'm
on,
sorry.
3 days
That's
from my birthday, it's on my
I
mind.
oh gee, you're like, go ahead and order the crypt. I'm done, guys. Toast me up. Yeah.
We need the seniors coffee from McDonald's.
Yeah. Give me the discounts.
I get them already. It's great.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But, but no, one of the other things that I am fascinated with, and some of it's from, as I said, my past and choosing the path that I found and how I found that. But it's also even in watching my kids as they grow up and things like that too. Is I've become enamored of this. Everyone comes into the world with so much potential, so much possibility, and as we grow and through the choices we make and the people we hang out with and all of that, those that potential grows or it shrinks, and we were talking about people who broke the cycle and people who didn't. For me, the major way I broke the cycle, and I still do it to this day, is there's times where if I'm making a decision, it's um, what would my dad have done? Or what would my brother have done? 180 degrees from
I
that,
need to go the other way.
the other way, right? So, but through that, I found a path that allowed me at least to have the potential to, if I don't do anything else, I've at least written these 6 books, that sort of thing, as well as all the other stuff I've gotten before then. So that's also a theme towards the end as well, is, you know, uh, taking away somebody's potential or finding your own potential as well, without getting all weird, new agey or anything like that. But that's a thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with that, from so many different angles. So that's in there as well.
That's very cool. That's very like existential and kind of like life path, and really how
Right.
important the decisions are that you make. And
Yeah.
I think
Which
that's
is
really cool.
which is weird because I'm not a deep thinker. I'm not that
Woo woo. Yeah. No.
guy.
So that goes in perfectly to my next question
Nice.
about how you see horror contributing to kind of our understanding of the world and our own fears and anxieties.
Oh,
And it sounds like, yeah, I mean, you've had that personalized experience,
yeah,
exercising some of your own demons and writing it, but then
yeah,
also it could translate over to your readers, because then they'll see how your characters' decisions are impacting them and that
yeah,
sort of thing. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool. So what do you think about as like large scale horror as a whole, as a genre, how it impacts that for society?
It's interesting because there's certain genres that I think can illuminate uh, parts of what's happening in the world. Science fiction is very good at holding. They can set up these conceptual ideas, and then the one I always go back to is the original Star Trek series where you had the two races. One was black on one side and white on the other, and the other was white on that side and black on the other, and they hated each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, you can't get more obvious than that, but there it is, right? And
Yeah.
they make a statement with it. And I think horror is similar. You can uh, tap into the fears, and you know the world has gone nuts in the last 15
I don't know what
20
the fuck is happening. I
it
know.
has
I'm like, what is
gone
going on?
that shit, and I don't think COVID helped by locking people down and other people
No.
freaking out and all of
Yeah.
that. But and certain elected officials. Um,
Listen,
Also,
Canadian, don't rub it in,
oh,
okay?
hey, no, no, no. I'm not just talking about U.S. There was Britain there, the North
Very
over
true.
there.
Very true.
What is with that guy's hair? Seriously.
Oh my god. I'm like, does he not see himself? He's pitiful. He looks like a cartoon character. He really
I,
does.
I think a new rule, if a politician has really bad hair, don't hire him. Simple as that.
He can't take care of his hair. He can't take care of our country. There's
Hey,
our slogan. Right.
done, done,
Done. Yeah.
perfect. Rules to live by.
Yeah.
But,
I feel like it's very simple. Yeah.
however, oh, but yeah. So I think you know what I think horror. I mean, there is fun horror. There is, just like you have your beach read, for romance or whatever. You can have your horror beach reads where it really doesn't have anything to say other than, some people are going to die and we're going to have fun doing it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but at the other end of the scale, uh, you've got these much better authors than I'll ever be, shining a light on certain fears or certain prejudices or certain concerns, and they are able to twist that into an incredible story. And sometimes it's about the world. Sometimes it's a very personal story too. Like again, the the two. I mean, Stephen King is he's there, right? I mean,
Of
he's
course.
always the elephant in the room.
I
But
know.
but the thing is, you look at something, and I saw somebody, and I don't even know if he thinks he did this, but I found it interesting. Somebody disseminating Cujo, and they're like, okay, think about it. Cujo is Stephen King. He was great. Everybody loved him, and then he got bitten. The dog got bitten, like Stephen King got bitten by fame, and then he couldn't handle it, and he went into addiction, and he went into alcoholism and everything else, and and then the family that loved him suffered for it and everything else. And I'm like, as an analogy, that actually works.
That's
It really
interesting.
does. And then
Yes.
sure, Stephen King's kind of going, no, just handle
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm just totally tripping out. Well, and I
Yeah.
think too, I mean, speaking of including the human condition in
Mhm.
writing and exploring the depravity of humans. I mean, Stephen King, that's his
Yeah,
whole shtick is like humans
absolutely.
suck, like they're
Yeah,
awful.
yeah,
Here's why,
yeah.
So yeah.
And then you've got somebody like a Jack Ketchum who's like, yeah, you think that's Stevie? Hold my beer. Uh,
Oh God. Oh, I know it.
yeah,
That's yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
on a whole
No,
different level for sure, for
absolutely.
sure.
Ketchum's one of my favorites.
Oh, I know. He's the
Yeah,
gateway into, I feel like, extreme horror. And I
yeah,
talk about extreme horror on the pod some, and I'm just like, dance into it there. Go with Jackhead. See if you can handle that. And then, okay, you can try some other stuff too. So, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
One of the greats. Okay, so you mentioned loving feedback on your writing, both
You do.
positive and negative, which is awesome. So, how does feedback shape your work, and sometimes how do you navigate like conflicting opinions between your readers? Do you have like beta readers that you send to? How does that process go for you?
No, I am one of these guys that I when I write something, it is guarded jealously and held close to the vest until it is edited and clean. And even then, no beta readers. It's just like, nope, it's ready for public consumption. Out it goes. So I really
That's
don't get involved.
brave.
We're really stupid.
Yeah, I'm like, wow,
Stupidly
that is
brave.
brave. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because there's also another writer that I co-write with, a whole different type of set of books. None of them published yet, but
Uh-huh.
he's he makes me batshit crazy. This man, I love him. I love him like a brother. He is the best guy. Dale, if you're watching this, I love you, man.
We
But
love you, Dale.
we love you, Dale. However, he will write a paragraph, and it's like, "Ooh, show this to a million people. See what they think of it." And it's like, dude, I mean, it's 10 minutes old. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
wipe that baby off first, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that's
So
amazing.
I'm not that person. So no, for me, the feedback always comes after it is out there and that sort of thing. And it's interesting because I've had such cool, not always positive, but such cool responses to some of my books. Um, I mean, I actually got an email this morning from somebody who was quite pissed off that I don't have a trigger warning at the beginning of the first book. They
Uh-oh.
they loved the book until they hit the thing at the end, and it really bothered them. Um, and I know the
I
argument.
know, Lord, we're getting
Yeah,
into the weeds now. Yeah.
I mean, we can do an hour on trigger warnings. I know we could. Um, but ultimately, the reason I didn't do the trigger warning is because if I did the trigger warning, you'd know what
Spoils
was
the
coming
plot.
at the end of the book, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
Spoils the plot. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I mean, I'm also, again, I'm older, so I've come from a generation that never had those trigger warnings. So I'm kind of,
Kind of
that's where
you're
I
new
am.
to the idea, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I like the idea of what is that? There's a website, you probably aren't familiar with it because it says does the dog die in the end or something like that. And since you're an animal killer, I'm teasing, but
I'm probably
no, it's
blacklisted on.
yeah, they're like this motherfucker. No. No, it's something like that. There's like a
Yeah,
website out there where
so they
people
double check.
they can seek,
Yeah,
and I that's kind of where I stand on it because I have a standing trigger warning for pretty much anything you can think of for any of my books. Like just go in
yeah.
knowing whole hog, it's on,
Well,
you know.
and well, that was
So
it. So what interesting? What had happened is somebody, uh, a bookstagrammer, read the first book and got through it no problem, despite that thing at the end. This is a
mhm.
few months back. They got into the second book, the one with the demon in the high school. The demon does rather unsavory things with bodies.
Oh
He
dear.
pro-
Oh
he
dear.
he procreates. He procreates. We'll leave it at
Okay.
that.
Trigger
So
warning. Yeah.
so the the bookstagrammer actually sent me, and I knew it wasn't going to go well because they actually messaged me and said, "So do I have to finish the second book to understand the rest of the series?" I'm like, "Yeah, you do." And then I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
so what's going wrong?" And she had a problem with that, and which is fine. And I basically said, "Okay, you know what? Don't read the rest of the book, and you probably don't want to read the rest of the series anyway." Um,
yeah.
it ended up kind of a thing, and I'll admit it was kind of the first time I'd run up against something like that, so I probably didn't react as well as I should have. I have learned from that, and
Okay. Learning experiences. Yeah.
yeah, no, and you know what, and it's good because you have to go through something once at least to know the right way to respond.
Yeah.
So, but what I did is I then went to Instagram and kind of said, okay, so you know what, you read my books, you're going to get werewolves and demons, but warning, you're also going to get child abuse, sexual assault,
Yeah. Yeah.
murder, drug abuse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was a long list, actually.
No, oh my God. Okay, so I was submitting to, I don't remember something, and it said list all of your trigger warnings in your book, and I was like, I had never actually like sat down and figured out what all of them
Right?
were, and when I
Right?
did, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why do I have this list is
Exactly.
like 2 pages long?
This is
Why?
exactly what I went through. I'm like, oh man, I
Yeah,
am
but
fixated, and
it's a
I am
great
not
book.
I am not a nice human being. But hey,
Yes, yeah. Like I promise you'll love it. I promise it's great, but
yeah,
there are just
yeah,
a few
yeah,
things. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
So, but again, you know what? There was that feedback, and so and it's on my social media, but I've got a trigger warning there for the series now. But I've also had, a lot of people have basically said it's a horror novel, and I expect really bad things to happen. I mean, Tobin writes horrible stories about bad people doing terrible things, right?
yeah, yeah. You put it right
Um,
out there in the bio. Yeah,
you, so,
yeah.
but yeah, like I mean, I've had a cousin who I love dearly who got halfway through the first book and literally sent me a message saying, "Tobin, I love you, but I'm never going to read anything else of yours ever again, and I'm not going to
Can't do
finish this
it.
book. I cannot. I can only handle so much of your madness."
Okay, that's
For
okay, and that's
me,
totally okay for
and
somebody
for
to be
me,
like, "Hey, I can't read it." Yeah,
absolutely, and for me, that's a win, anyways. I wrote a horror book. I horrified you.
You did your job.
I did.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
did.
That's when people ask me the question, what do you want people to get out of your books? I want them to walk away and be like, what the fuck was that? That was awesome, but what the fuck? You know, you just
Yeah.
want to leave them with that, like,
I'm with.
shocked, horrified. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that. But I do also appreciate the an opportunity for those that are triggered by like very specific topics. If they
Hmm.
wanted to seek it out and find that
Hmm.
information, I like the opportunity for that to be available, you know. So like
Well,
websites like that.
I should probably try and find that website and throw my stuff up there anyway. Just yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, you
Uh,
see if it's there. Yeah.
yeah. No, and I said I had an email this morning from the one person who wasn't happy with the ending, and I encouraged them actually to put a review out, even if it's
Absolutely.
negative. I'm not worried about that. If it's a negative review, that's fine. Because I am not one of these people that has to only see positive reviews.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, you know what? Put it out on Goodreads, put it out on Amazon, put it out on social media, put it out wherever you can if you want,
Yeah.
because then that may warn somebody else, and that's a good thing. On the
Yep.
other hand, you may get somebody else going, "That's nothing, man. I've read worse than that on in church. Let me
Yeah.
have that book." So,
And then
but
there's the rest of us that are like, ooh, I'm intrigued.
yeah,
Like, let me go read it. Yeah, that
yeah,
happens all. I love that actually
yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
watching a TikTok video or I'm on like one of the social medias. So many now, and it's like, oh my gosh, this story has blah blah blah
yeah.
blah blah, and I'm like,
And I'm like, check one,
that
check
sounds
two, I'm in.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Well,
oh, a
and
deadly
it's kind
disease, you say? Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's kind of like that trend that's going on. I've seen it on Instagram a little bit where they're pulling one-star review of popular books sort of thing, and I love it.
Yes,
I love that. I
I
love it.
do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
but that's but I encourage people, like even with the people I've sent out like review copies to, it's like even if you hate it, go ahead and review it. I'm good with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
might as
don't mind.
well. It's
I
good to
don't
have a
mind.
comprehensive view. I mean,
Yeah,
like to have a
no.
comprehensive. Well, and that's like, I totally get that. I mean, shit, I write T is for Torture, which is a mock ABC book that's not for kids. Like
Yes,
that, I piss people
It's
off for
not
that,
the
and
kid. He is
I
the tortoise.
the shock of the century. I know, I know. And it even says on the back, adult content only. And I'm like, people, it is not for children, okay? Unless your children are fucked up. Like maybe your kids would when they were younger.
Interesting.
You never know. Yeah.
You know what? I had a guy. I'm not kidding. What are we today? Today's Tuesday. On Saturday, I was at a book signing in a big bookstore, and this guy walks up, and I've got all six of my books. And if you've seen the covers, I mean, there's blood,
Yeah.
and he's looking at, and he's like literally studying there, and he goes, "So these are for kids, right? Like little kids?" And I'm like,
Nah.
"You either you either need to up your prescription or drop your prescription, sir." But one of the two.
What are you showing your kids? Like that's
Yeah,
probably blood in big red letters on the title with
yeah,
literally dripping.
yeah,
Like what are we? No,
yeah.
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
not so much,
Oh
not
my
so much.
god, that's funny. Oh my god. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about family, and I
Yes.
want to know, how do you manage that role of family man and then writing? Like, do you have a certain time of day that you like to write, or is it just whatever you can, or how does that work?
I have completely ignored my family for 30 years. I don't even know who
Uh,
they are.
yeah, fuck
Yeah.
them. Like, what is their name? Like, hi, family. Yeah,
See you at dinner.
No,
yeah.
oh,
Nice to meet you, family. Yeah.
no. I mean, so when I was working full time, I'm retired. So,
Oh, congratulations.
thank you.
Mm.
It was unplanned. It was one of those, hey, we don't need you anymore after 20 years. But you know what? In the
Uh,
end, it was a favor. I liked it.
hey, fuck them, but silver
Yeah,
lining. Yep.
yeah, absolutely. But no, like even when I was working full time. So I am, and I've heard that this is not you, and this is actually your horror story. I get up at 5 a.m. and that's when I write. Yeah, I know.
Hell no.
I can I can see the disgust in your face, and I can almost
No.
smell it. I can
Yeah.
smell
No,
it.
thank you. No.
That is the smell
I'm
of
the nighttime writer. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're finishing yours off as I'm starting. Um,
Really though, I'm like, good night, everyone, and you're waking up. Yeah.
so no, I get up, but that was my thing, and I I mean, I'll admit I wasn't always good at it because there's sometimes it's like, damn, that was a long ass day yesterday. Tomorrow I'm sleeping in. But most of the time, yeah, I get up at 5 a.m. and I'll do a walk of the dog, and then I come in and I sit down and I start writing. Um,
Wow.
and sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 20 minutes, but I write. Um, and it's incredible how much progress you can do. Mm. And it was interesting because I was listening to Catherine De Silva that you had on a couple of episodes back, and
Yeah.
she was like, she said she didn't like the routine. She kind of liked to write more in inspiration. And for me, it's like if I waited for inspiration, dude, I don't even think the first book would be finished yet. So
Right,
no,
right.
for me,
Well, and
it's
I always tell
So
people writing begats writing, and sometimes if you just
it
force
does.
yourself into it, like it will happen. It will come. Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
sprinting. I
yeah,
know a lot of people like to do sprint writing, where they'll say, "Okay,
yeah,
20-minute timer, game on,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
happening."
well, and and it's funny because I used to like I actually taught creative writing for 20 years, and one of the things I used to say to
Fun.
people is I would tell people, it's like, do you write every day? No. Okay, set a timer, and even if you don't know what to write, sit there and type. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. You're only going to get that out 3 times. And you go, oh, fuck this! I'm going to start writing something.
Yeah, yeah,
Your brain just rejects that crap. Um,
yeah.
but for me, I have learned to give myself a hint for the next day too, because I also am really bad. Otherwise, I'm kind of going back. Oh, I'll only go back a page and reread it. And, oh well, now I'll go back to the beginning of the chapter and
Oh
reread
yeah,
it. And then you don't write.
yeah.
So my standard thing is to finish halfway into a sentence, and then and
Oh
and then I'll put a little note down below, and it's like, I don't know, you got to kill Peter today, or
yes.
and
That's a
but then
cool method.
yeah, I've got a prompt then, right? So and 99% of the time it's like, and then he what? And I don't know what the hell I was going to write. Sometimes I'll even erase that and just keep going on something else. But I know I have something to go on. So
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
I don't rely on inspiration. I rely on here's where you were yesterday. Here's where you need to start going today, sort of thing. Yeah,
That is really cool. I like that.
it,
And
it
for
works.
me, I'm the psychotic plotter. And so I have to plot literally the entire book, every single chapter before I even write the first word.
Okay,
And
so
you know,
that's my and I'm known as the planner, but that right there, what you just described, that's for
no
me.
way.
I plot, but it's bullet points, and it's. I mean, for a novel, I might have 10. For a short story, I might
Wow.
have two or three, and I'll have those sitting at the bottom of the manuscript. So as I write down, and I'll knock them off as I complete them. But the big thing for me that I really, and I don't know if you get this, but the big thing for me is, there's sometimes broad expanses between those two bullet points.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm, I mean, yeah, I'm making it all up, but I'm making shit up as I go
Oh
through there
yeah.
because
Yeah,
like I
of
got a couple
course, of
pages.
course. Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know
Now there
what
is
though?
some flexibility, I think, for mine. It
Uh,
it it will there's room for it to change, but
yeah,
no kidding. Like mine start as 55 scenes, and I could really horrify some people with my spreadsheets. I have the
Steve.
pacing print
Oh my
yeah, oh
God.
yeah. I know I'm literally unhinged when it comes to
You're
this.
you're a J.K. Rowling type
I'm
of.
yeah, without the turfness, yes. So I no, really, I spreadsheets, pacing, like literally the vibes of the scene. It's
No
outrageous. So yeah,
kidding.
my novel planning is not just one spreadsheet though. Like I have like 22 sheets within the spreadsheet for
Oh my
it's
God. I
beyond
would
obsessive.
see. I
But
must have.
I write historical horror, so that's a lot of research that has to go
It
into it
is.
too. So I have
It
a lot
is.
of data that I have to collect, and like it's a whole fucking thing. Well, that's like the doctor on the Dr. Marie Lestrange on my it's social
Yeah.
media is not for fun. Like I
Yeah.
am a researcher, and so that flows over into my writing,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and and that's your excuse me. If that's your comfort zone, then that's what you do. Like you do what you got to do to
Yep.
ultimately get those pages.
Yep.
Like it just blows my mind. Stephen King's like, yeah, I have no idea where it's going to go. I just start writing.
My husband is like that, and he's a writer
Hell.
too. And
Oh, okay.
hell no, yeah. Which
No.
he and I write together, and so like we'll be sitting at the table together, both writing, and he's like pantsing the hell out of it, and I'm over here
Mhm.
like minuscule details. So yeah, it's craziness,
Awesome.
absolutely craziness, but really awesome. I do love it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, Tobin, it is time for the grand question.
Okay.
Are you ready for
No,
the
but
what? The Would You Rather lightning round. Are you ready?
It's not going to be a lightning round. It's going to be like a fog more than anything, but go for it.
I'm so like rolling thunder way in the distance. Like
Is that thunder or is that something farting?
I think oh, it's the stick people. Everybody run!
But they killed the demon.
Yeah. Hey, wait! Yay! Celebrate that. Oh Lord. Okay. All right. Here we go. Would you rather be trapped in a haunted house for a night or lost in a dense forest for a week?
I think I've actually done both of those by choice, so that's a hard one.
Oh Jesus! What is wrong with you now? Minnie, is there time? Is there time to discuss? Yeah.
I'd go with just because, I mean, more shenanigans theoretically.
Yeah, definitely. Probably
Yeah.
a higher chance of survival, maybe in the enclosed location. I don't know, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the ability to read minds or see 10 minutes into the future?
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
I told you I worked hard on these today. I did.
I'm gonna go with read minds because, quite frankly, if I can read minds, I probably have an inkling of what's going on 10 minutes in the future.
Ah, very wise. I
Yeah.
agree. I absolutely agree. Okay. And I feel like seeing what's happening in 10 minutes in the future, that would stress me the fuck out. Of course, hearing what people thought too would stress me the fuck out, but yeah. Okay.
Piss me off if I know I'm going to get in a car accident too. I was like, damn it!
Yeah. God, why? What am I going to do in my last 10 minutes? What am I yeah, that would be so shitty. Okay. Hey, that's a book idea. I like that idea. Like, that's an idea of just being like 10 minutes to go, you know? Hey, everybody keep an eye out. I'll publish that one in years from now when I get around to it. Okay. Would you rather, this is appropriate for you based on your story, live in a world where everyone is a vampire or in a world where everyone is a werewolf?
Everyone?
Everyone.
Like everyone except
all
me?
of the people except you.
Okay,
First of all, I wouldn't be living long. But
Maybe you're their god. You're like their token leader or something. Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna
assume that we're going with the traditional vampires and werewolves.
Yes.
So then I'm going to go with werewolves because then I've got, 28, 29 days of relative peace as opposed to having to hide every night. So
that is I wouldn't have thought of that. That's very good. Yeah, it's true. You could have a mostly normal existence and just go lock yourself in a tomb for, one night every month. That'd be fine. Yeah.
28 days of shooting silver bullets around, man.
Like, I'll take care of this. I'm Van Helsing. Get away. Yeah.
I'm on an island. I cleared the island. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. This is where I live now. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Would you rather have the power to control fire or the power to control shadows?
I think I could have a lot more fun with fire.
That's bad. Yes. It would be fun. That would be fun.
It's sad that the first friggin' thing I'm thinking of is, hey, my wife's about to fart. I'm going to light a fart from over here.
Oh, no, that is, no. And that's not even what my mind went to. My mind went to like, man, I would accidentally set a forest on fire or some shit. Like, it would be destruction.
You can't hear it, but my wife is now yelling at me from downstairs.
Don't say that on a podcast.
She's
like, you've talked about our dog, you've talked about our farts. You are not a good you have not done us.
Actually, that's normal dinner conversation around that. So it's
That's
okay.
perfect. That's perfect.
But no, yeah, I'd have to. I mean, Shadows is interesting, but
Hmm.
fire is shenanigans. So
Yeah,
I'm going with
super
fire.
shenanigans. You're the shenanigans type.
Oh
I'm
hell
seeing
yeah,
that. Yeah,
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 shenanigans type.
yeah.
Okay. Would you rather? So this I feel like leads to. Well, I think I know the answer for the next one. Would you rather be the protagonist in a horror story or the antagonist? Oh, we have to think about this
I do
one.
have to think about this one
Oh.
because if it's my own stories, I'll definitely be the protagonist because my
Oh,
antagonist are assholes.
don't want to. That's very true. Yes, yes.
Assholes. But yeah, yeah, this is the eternal struggle, right? Because
Yes.
everybody loves Hannibal the Cannibal. Everybody loves Darth Vader. Everybody loves the
Oh, yeah.
bad guys. But because they're always more interesting and they get to do the shit that you want to do and you can't. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, the taboo shit. Yeah, yeah. But it's bad. I mean, like, would you really enjoy being
but
the
is it
slasher?
really? Is it really?
Yeah.
No.
Remember, if anyone's missing, it has nothing to do with Tobin
No.
Elliot.
No. No. Um, shit. I'll, I'll go with protagonist. That's a tough one, though. I mean, it is like here and here.
That is tough. And you know what's funny? I have asked versions of that question before, and you're the first one to not say antagonist. I don't know what that says about my guests, but like, yeah, you're the first one. How
Really,
honorable. The
I'm the
honorable
nicest.
Tobin Elliot.
I am the nicest guest you've ever had.
Basically a saint. Honestly, a saint. Yeah. Okay.
That
Would
dead
you?
body over there.
Yeah. Turn the screen. Show us your. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Would you rather have a pet zombie or a pet ghost?
Definitely a ghost. It's gonna stink less. Uh,
True.
What
Okay.
question is that?
I.
One, you gotta feed brains to it all the time. The other one just hangs out, and walks through walls and
Or
shit.
you could just see how long it lasts. Like how long until it's. I mean,
Oh,
how long would a zombie last? I
I'm.
wonder. That's it.
I don't know. Why don't I just pull some hamburger out and put that on the table? And hey, ghost, I got a game for the two of us. We're gonna pretend this is zombie now.
But you could like lock the zombie away, like go put it out in the barn or some shit. But a
Yeah.
ghost would be coming up in your walls. You'd be taking a shower, and there's Moaning Myrtle. Like that might be, I don't know about that.
Depends on what she looks like. But yeah, no, you're really seriously trying to sell me on the zombie thing here, aren't you? But no, I gotta go ghost, man.
I'm just being devil's
the,
advocate.
the last thing I want to do is walk around all the time like on the edge of death. It's like I have. Okay, you don't understand. I have a friend. I will not name him now, and it's not Dale. But it is.
Because
I
we
have a
love
friend.
Dale.
We love Dale. And this man, I have been sitting at a table with him. We're playing card games, and he has dropped something out of him that had crawled up inside and died several weeks earlier. I mean, you need stitches to close that kind of wound, and I've been gagging. So now you're just basically describing that smell 24/7. No thanks.
I feel like this has been the fart cast today. Like, there's been so many flatulence references.
Give me the damn ghost.
I'm done. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I hope it's a farting
Yeah,
ghost
it
for
was
you.
morning,
It's
morning,
just,
morning
I
noodle,
was
but not farting Fred.
gonna say it's a ghost that constantly farts. That's all it does. It's actually a green puff cloud. That's all it is. That would be terrible.
Watch it. We had another story idea for you.
Yeah, exactly. Take that and run with it because I'm not gonna write that one. And obviously, Tobin is like traumatized by flatulence, so I don't think he's gonna write it either. Oh my god.
Whole lot going on.
Funny. Oh god. Okay.
I'll be on
So
next week again too. Sure.
Oh my God. Like, I'm literally like hee-hawing. I can't breathe. Oh my God. Okay. You've got to write satire. You've got to write funny shit. You are so funny. Oh my God. Oh man. Okay. Would you rather have the ability? I know, like, how do I even go on? Where do you go from part?
Would you rather do another question or not?
Where do you go from fart ghosts? I'm just not sure. Okay, but this one's a good one, so I do want to ask you this one. Okay, would you would you rather have a cursed object that brings you wealth, but also attracts supernatural entities, or a curse?
Complicated as fuck.
I know the layers. There are layers here. Or
What?
would you rather have a cursed object that grants you immortality but brings eternal loneliness? So you've got immortality with loneliness,
Right.
or wealth with supernatural entities.
I mean, you could theoretically do the Bruce Wayne back to shit with all your money to fight off the supernatural things, but I'm actually really good with being alone.
Oh no. Okay.
I hate people.
Oh, well, there you go. You're like, that actually sounds enticing. Sign me up. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. COVID lockdowns, everybody's like, oh my God, you're taking my freedoms away. I'm like,
So many. It was just like, see, my husband and I were on
I
total
want to
opposite
return to
ends
home.
there. Yeah, no, he was like, can I live this way forever? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
stay away like stay
yeah,
6 feet
yeah.
away from me at all times for the rest of my
Seriously.
life. That sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I'm like, bring me the people. Where are the
Yeah.
people?
No.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. I also work like part-time at a bookstore, so I come home.
Oh.
There's that retail hell thing. It's good because there's books. It's almost like a would you rather. You can work at a store where there's lots of books, but the people.
But you got to work at a store. Yeah, that's tough.
But the people.
Yeah, I worked in retail. Shoo, Lord. No.
I
On
know.
Black Friday, all that shit.
No hell. Yeah.
That's some trauma and I worked at a movie
There's
theater too. And you talk about on the holidays, trauma. I'm not recovered. And that was over a decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Before I answer your what would you rather, just answer me one
Yes.
question on the movie theaters. Was the worst part of the bathrooms?
No, actually, no, it really wasn't. I'm like,
Okay. Now I'm really jealous of you because the bathrooms. You don't want to go in there most of the time.
No, they weren't bad. Not bad at all, thankfully. No. And I don't know, it was amazing that it did not become more of an issue. You would think that it would be a lot worse of an issue, and it was not. But we actually had a ghost in one of the movie theater bathrooms. It was like the far away one. So if you would be cleaning and I know people are going to be like, this bitch thinks there's ghosts everywhere. She thinks there's a ghost in her house. There's a ghost. I swear there was a ghost in the movie theater bathroom. Everyone knew it. You would go in there, and if you had to clean by yourself, the doors would slam shut and shit. And I was like, it was so freaky, especially like late at night in a movie theater that has no people in it other than the workers. That's some fucked up shit. It was scary.
Okay. Can you imagine going through your life doing everything that you can try and do to be successful, and then you die and you end up spending eternity smelling toilet mint?
Movies, no less. No.
You can't even see the damn movie because all you got is the toilets. Yeah, you get this guy's peeing.
Oh my God, that's even worse. You get to hear the blockbusters through the walls. But then you're like, damn it, I'm in the shitter the whole time. What am I gonna do? That is some bad purgatory for somebody. That's another book idea. I feel like a ghost that like how you lived your life is how you have to spend. Like if you were a shitty person, you got to go live in a shitty afterlife. Oh my God, that's
so you hear
a
the
riot.
blockbusters behind the wall, then you hear the blockbusters behind the stall too. God.
No.
Anyways, I'm gonna go with immortality and loneliness. All this talk of rotten people and privileges and
I think that might be a service to the human race. Might be a good thing. We'll just put you away over on a little island over there. Oh my god, forever. Just imagine the calamity. You could just write all the fart books that you ever wanted to write over on your little island. Oh my god, that is so funny.
Can I just say this is the weirdest but most fun interview I've ever had?
I told you it's gonna be like no podcast you've ever been on before. So absolutely. I'm so proud of that. I'm so happy. I'm just like, fuck it. Let's talk about all the crazy stuff. It's awesome. It's awesome.
The Honorable Tobin enjoys you.
Honorable, absolutely. Oh my god, his fart book is coming soon. Don't worry, it'll be out for us. So okay, but
watch this going for nonsense. People, shut up. It's just.
Yes. So if they want to read your actual dark shit, where can no pun intended. God damn it. Where can they find your work? I'm crying. I'm literally
Oh, where can they find my work?
Yeah.
Wow. They can find it in the haunted movie theater bathroom. No, my stuff is everywhere. So I publish through Amazon, so it's all over Amazon, ebook, softcover, hardcover. It is also published through Ingram Spark, ebook and softcover, so it is in, it's in the Barnes and Nobles and the Waterstones and the Indigos in Canada. It is in, I think you can order through Walmarts and Targets, and it's everywhere.
Yes.
Indie bookstores, that sort of thing. I keep bugging all the independent authors. I know it's like, why are you not using Spark and getting your stuff out there more? Drives me bonkers.
Right. Because it is such a huge, and I use Ingram Spark myself because it's so convenient to be able to just send it off into the world. I actually think I'm going to try a new one for an upcoming book though, because I want to do, I might try Book Vault solely because I want to do foil lettering on the cover.
Ooh.
So gonna have a bougie book come out for sure. Yeah. Bougie with exactly.
That's
so
B is for bougie.
B is for bougie. Oh my god, yes. That's exactly. So I don't know, but Ingram Spark is good for getting the books out everywhere, for sure.
Honestly, it really is. And for anybody who's thinking about it, I don't know about your experience, but on mine, on average, I sell anywhere a month 5 to 10 times through Ingram Spark. Sell through Amazon. So, but yeah, so my stuff is everywhere, and in all of my social media and all of that type of stuff, I have a link tree that links to each book, and it gives you all of the stores that you can then click in your favorite store and order it, or you can go to your favorite independent.
That's awesome. We love that. And I will link, I will link your link tree in the show notes. And so everyone will be able to click on that and go buy all of Tobin's books. And we have to read them in order. Is that correct?
We do have to read them in order, absolutely, because each book kind of character-wise leads into the next, and then it all wraps up at the end.
Okay.
But after the last half of this interview, I don't know if anybody's even going to listen anymore.
We're going to be like, I don't want to read anything from either one of those psychopaths. Like, what's wrong with them? Oh my god. It has been such a joy having you on the podcast today. I am 100% going to invite you back. And we'll just put a trigger warning at the very beginning of the episode. Be like, and just prepare yourself for this shit because literally it's
T is for trigger warning.
T is for trigger warning. Oh my god, exactly. T is not only for torture, it's for trigger warning. So.
And for TMI.
And for Yes, and toilet. There's so many. We could just have the whole. Oh my god, I'm crying again.
It's for everything. It's everything.
T is for totally fucked up. Oh my god, I love it. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. T is for Tobin. Oh no. Yes. Well, thank you for coming on the pod. I will definitely have you back. I've had such a great time today. It was super fun.
Absolutely, I'll happily.
Well, yeah, we'll sell hundreds of books now. This is going to be the way. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh my God.